This is part two, explaining why it's important to be aware of socialization and how it affects us, our decision making, and how we view the world. Please check out the first video for what I mean by socialization, etc. Because socialization is taught from the moment we're born, it literally changes our brains and it affects what we think is possible to be and do in the world. Socialization influences how you see the world so you can participate in society according to certain scripts. Socialization limits and kills our imaginations. It affects our ability to imagine different futures and worlds. And this alone is a sign that socialization was not created with our best interests at heart. It's easy to say it is what it is and believe that social problems can't be changed when that's all you've ever known. Things like poverty, racism, rape culture, etc. are man-made problems, not natural law. One of the goals of socialization is to systemically remove certain people and or make them invisible in society. These are physical, psychological, and social genocides. And just because you are benefiting from the system in certain ways now doesn't mean that will always be your position forever. Recognizing socialization and power dynamics is essential because the reality is less that people somehow have privileges in society and more that people are allowed access to resources, spaces, as a reinforcement for not acting or existing in ways that can't be as fully exploited as possible. Like I said in part one, people are punished for existing in ways that are outside of the script. And those punishments are meant to erase folks out of existence and scare others straight. Because people can both be oppressed in some ways while also benefiting from these systems in other ways, there are people who only focus on the oppressions they personally experience and ignore the suffering of others, especially if they can enjoy some level of power over people. And this society encourages people to not have empathy for each other and to be their own individuals so that everyone can keep playing by the scripts and keep playing the game. Again, unless you are a white, cisgender, heterosexual, able-bodied man with money and property, and you stay that way forever, you will always be vulnerable to being thrown under the bus systemically in order to keep this system moving. Understanding socialization, recognizing what it looks like in the wild, and doing the work to unpack it is essential foundation for trauma work, for repairing one's sense of self and connection to the body, for healthy relationships, and for community building. Freedom is not something that just passively happens. We together have to free ourselves, while also having grace for yourself and others within reason, because systemic oppressions have a year's head start in our minds. Working against socialization is essential to freedom work as we learn to value the folks that we were taught by white supremacy, capitalism, misogyny, ableism, etc. to devalue and ignore.